Now represent your representations in the symbolic code of language, manatee, humanity, and run your hand along a restless spine. It was a time of fossil fuel priorities, of precious business time. That's what they'll say about us centuries hence. It was a busy, get on with it business time. You better get on with it time. They fucked us over and they're greedy, get over it time. That's what they'll say about us. What were they thinking? Stupid fuckers. It was commodification fun hog time. Time modification time. Got on with time. We killed time. They fucked us over. In our future time, we'll be surely more stressed in time. That's what they'll say. That's what they'll be saying. They got on with it, saying about us going nowhere but going down, and us all with them. What were they thinking in their selfish minds? Us, us, us. That's what they'll say about us generations hence. How living then hence, without so many animals then, they fuck the world over in their sweet avaricious time frame. That's what they'll say about us, those stupid fuckers. They let the animals die. They let the plants die. They killed the air. They killed the water. They killed each other. They killed language. Humdrum Paleolithic, when we would talk in sweet time notches. Well, that's over. Where did that ever evolve to? Then along 20,000 years of keeping time once, keeping it for all, and moving it time forward, and it the art forward, and it humanity forward, and now they want to kill it. Really, they killed it. Then along rim of Babylonian, rim of Egyptian, 5,000 years once ago, such progress, they kill all that too.
What happens to nihilism when you think about it? Nihilism always seems to be someone else's position, or the shadowy remnant of it, rather than one's own. Or perhaps it is a combination of many shadows from all ages that inspires the nihilistic vision. We need these shadows in order to give us the impression that we have seen the light. In the end, the suggestion is that we can see this light everywhere in the common environment of intelligibility in which we live. We place our faith in the intelligibility not of any particular Weltanschauung, but in the intelligibility of the differences between all Weltanschauungen. Here, the line dividing the position one is attacking from the position one is defending disappears. And with it, the very notion of position, without which nihilism is impossible. You see what working here does to your brain?
Chance also has a lot to do with evolution. How weird, I thought. I thought of the tree in the Poetry Project yard and went eventually back to close where I grew up, which was Brooklyn. We rented the apartment we were eventually to live in and became involved in the doings of the Lower East Side. The rent was exorbitant. We figured we'd live there till we found a cheaper place. Turns out the landlord was charging illegal rents so he could get hold of as many apartments as he could in that building to wait the vote and turn it into a co-op. He went to great lengths to get tenants out, like setting fires, disabling the elevators, and making the pool that nobody knew existed. That nobody knew was in a basement, unavailable except to the super whom I'd meet in the elevator in his swimming trunks. But at that time, the basement was a vast and scary place with no exits but the faulty elevators. I was at the acme of my agoraphobia, fear of marketplaces, which there were some of in New York City.
Even if I was having sex with a lot of dancers, there would still only be one me, and that one would feel way too much, with all of them in my head and my one body feeling it echoey, and the cars bumping by, and the people screaming and shoving to get into dojos. I sat there on the thinnest curve on the curb on the loudest street a night soon after Sam and I had sex. I felt like Anton von Donk. Journalist, artist, adventurer, he came to New York from Amsterdam in the 17th century and the situation of the colony went bad. I think about Anton a lot. He actually lived with the Native Americans in longhouses. He drew pictures and journals of how they lived. His account of the tender and complicated moment of the Dutch colony are practically the only records we have. He came from a permissive, tolerant time, the Enlightenment. But as the Dutch East India Company failed, the colony grew fearful and harsh. They slid a conservative into power, Peter Stuyvesant. Amazing, right? This is the man whose farm St. Mark's Church is on, the Bowery, which means farm, whose Ben Franklin look-alike statue sits in the yard on 2nd Avenue. Peter Stuyvesant was pretty bad, but apparently he wasn't even the worst. The world itself was the worst. The new world that was on its way. Everything we have right now is coming. Anton von Donk felt worn, used.
Work as work, and dreams as dreams. Live plant-like from season to season in my love's dreaming. Aretha Franklin's conversational print aloha shirts, highball whiffs, alarm clocks tick, glasses of green Kool-Aid. Anywhere else I've ever been, the revolution's bearing and scope proves irresistible to thinkers, and the people, when asked, always think, roll, drop down, crawl through the pitch black, bend under faucets, drink, resist reactive instincts. You could guess that. Never be wrong, wait, guard the night shift whistles, wearing sagey tweed uniform skirts, Shetland sport coats. Fur cones meet their reflections in bomber formation, blue quilted bell bottoms, varnished yellow cribs. A tall woman breathes next to me, wakes, swings out, blows through town, all the same secret, sender and message, in cooperative contention, sneak down a narrow hallway with the most beautiful sweeping motion, spin by orange groves, fenced-in gardens, hatchets flash up, tangs follow Katie long after she forks into the mist, pries open can lids, packs spackle down with her thumb, swivels a brush through gray paint to make rope pearls stand out, humanized, not teensy-weensy. Easy shots from there to there, scarred, welted, grainy. Pufferfish puff up whenever we speak, then start puffing up on their own without a word from anyone. A sandhill crane lays its beak on its breast to sleep. The next roomy pocket of resistance is Mom's ornamental waters collection. Sparrows flock. My girlfriend's kimono from her leg tickles my ear. Nightmen fuss, hold matches to a frozen padlock, ford the flooded driveway.
A video zoo herded by leaps, transfoliated, appropriate, speaking incessantly behind any old abyss's backdoor politesse, get some jobbed contingency who became too old to be angry, you guess, gradating millionish, who's beheaded by color, and color, inskirts of mess, no staphuctus liked, the middling past tense of reaction, defronted republics of realty, impractically speaking, an inside of well-schooled outsiders, a video zoo herded by leaps. Work will have to work now on changing that which will almost necessarily change something else. That he, all power, no moves, I'm extending, by the way, this year by 10 days to meet some excessive needs like lonely pleasure timed against a barrage of input untempered by poverty. That, like Atlantis, is coming back, like default, the issue of extension bound with the matter of variation, appearance, much less elongation of thought causes a reduction of diction, holding. Work will have to work now on changing that.